Hi there, Tad Hargrave from Marketing for Hippies, and today we're going to be talking about the 7 criteria of a good offer. Ultimately, business comes down to making an offer. Yeah, you can do all the niching work, you can do all the point of view work, you can think about the hubs, and it's useless unless you have something to offer them. So what I want to offer is a checklist of 7 things. You can look at your existing offers, but any offer you come up with, come back to this video. Because if your offer meets all 7 criteria, you're probably going to do very, very well with it. Most marketing comes down to the offer. People think, oh, marketing is this learning amazing sales copy. It's about learning Facebook ads and all these techniques. There's a lot of ways you could market yourself. But ultimately what it comes down to is actually having an offer that's really good, having an offer that people are excited about. That's the basis of whether people are going to respond or not. So these are 7 criteria. I think it's going to be very helpful for you. Before I get into it, if you're interested in my videos and my stuff, if you haven't already, why not subscribe? Maybe you've been resisting it for a while. Why fight it? There's a red button. You can click that and a little bell icon, and you'll get notifications when I post new videos. You can also follow me on Facebook. Join my email list, marketingforhippies.com, because all the cool kids don't know anything about it, so we don't have to deal with them there. Okay, 7 criteria. Number 1, it must be relevant. The offer must be relevant. This does speak to the niching thing. This is why the niching is the foundational work. It's got to either be a kind of product they want. So for example, let's say, oh, I really want a sweet Viking wooden stein. Well, here you go. Talk to Alexander Ferry about that. Or it's got to solve a problem they have, get them a result they want, help them on that journey. It's got to be relevant to them. It must be something that they want, either as a product or, again, the solution to a problem or an issue that they have. Number 2, it must be simple. This is so important. I've seen offers become very convoluted and complicated. When a magician does a trick, if they're a really good magician, the thing they thought about before they designed the trick is, what's the story I want people to tell of this trick after? Because you can see a lot of magic that's so complicated. It's just a million things that happen all at once. And you leave and somebody says, how was the show? Great. What tricks did they do? You can't even remember it because it was so complicated, the storylines of them. Maybe there was no storyline. You know, it's, well, I picked a card and then he tore it up and then it appeared in his mouth. But then it was fixed and then my signature vanished and suddenly it's tattooed on my hand permanently. And then it was on fire and then I was on fire. I don't know. It's too crazy. Versus he picked up a coin, he held it at fingertips. He barely moved his hand, he just did this, and the coin was gone, and there was no sound. That's a story people will tell and tell and tell. Or he had me think of any city in the world, and he just looked in my eyes and he said, Paris. And that's exactly the city I was thinking of. There's no way he could have known. That's a story people will tell because it's simple. So the offer shouldn't be too convoluted. This is the key for word of mouth. You want word of mouth for your business? The offer should be really simple. You know, a phrase that often can be used here is, have you heard about the blank who blanks? Have you heard about the plumber who does it this way? Have you heard about the carpenter who does this? Have you heard about the massage therapist who does this? The accounting company that does this, or that does it in this way? Think about that as you're designing the offer. What would you want people to say? Number 3, it's got to be credible. So a lot of this comes down to point of view. So by the way, for the first step, relevance, there's an ebook I've got called The Art of Relevance that I highly recommend for this. Also, my Niching Spiral home study program very much helps with this. For the credibility piece, I've got an ebook called Point of View Marketing, which you may want to check out. But basically, they have to trust it. They have to look at the offer and say, oh, yeah, that's relevant to me. I really trust that that could get me the result I'm wanting. This doesn't mean they're going to buy. It just means they've got to trust you. You know, you've got to be able to make the case for the quality of your product and or the approach you take to this journey. Number 4, it's got to be sustainable for you. This is very important. That you got to get the pricing right. You don't want to be resenting the pricing. You got to factor in all the things, all the expenses, all the time. Your goals, your debt, all of this stuff has to be factored into the business model. But so when you look at that offer, you think, oh, you know what, if people paid that, I'd be just delighted. But of course, the inverse of this has got to be safe for them. So sustainable for you, but safe for them. And this, you know, of course, this is the difficult thing to thread the needle of in business is pricing. How do you charge an amount that works for you? That's a fair profit, not the, you know, minimum price, but also not the maximum price, but what's a fair price? Yeah. But that is also going to be safe enough for them to approach, that they're not just going to, your ideal clients we're talking about aren't going to say, that is crazy, that's way too expensive, you know? So it's got to be safe. And also with the safety piece, it's not just about pricing. Though we'll come back to that. It's also about risk. And if you go to marketingforhippies.com/risk, you will see the 3 keys to reducing the risk. It's a fairly extensive blog post, yours for free. Okay, so it's relevant, simple, credible, sustainable, safe. Relevant, simple, credible, sustainable, safe. Then number 6, valuable, meaning not just safe to approach. I mean, the price isn't $1 zillion, but also once we've dealt with that, it's just got to be, they've got to look at it and say, I get more value than I pay for here. More value than money. The value is greater than the cost. This is like, wow, I get all of this for just this price? Shut up and take my money. That's what we're going for in terms of the perception of value. And this also comes down to what we call the customer values question. The customer values question is, what's most important for my ideal client when buying what I sell? So when people are buying Viking wooden steins, what's most important to them? You know, I'm not sure what that would be. But, you know, of course, it's going to last. It's going to be able to hold your beer. It's not going to leak, I guess. These might be things. But then also if it's a service, you know, when you go from, my people come from massage, what's most important to them in the massage? And this really takes knowing your people and some thought. You know, British Airways, they asked for customer feedback in first class. What can we do to make your transatlantic flight better? And they just said, let us sleep. Stop waking us up to offer us things. Isn't that amazing? It was actually less made it more valuable for them. Okay, number 7, it should be repeatable. You know, speaking of British Airways, most of the fuel in a flight is used to get into the jet stream to take off. That's almost all the fuel. And the same with designing an offer. Designing an offer, man, you have to think it through. You got to think about the niche, your point of view. You got to design it. You got to write the sales letter for it. You got to figure out the hubs and how to promote it. That's so much of the work. So, you know, I have this program I do called The Meantime, and I've done it 9 years in a row. Next year will be my 10th year. Every year I do it, it's easier for me to do because all the heavy lifting and design has been done. You know, my mentorship program, I take people through ongoingly, you know, in a deeper relationship through their marketing stuff. But every time I work with somebody, it's basically the same as the last, you know, in the basic structure. And so I get to learn, I get to make it better. But if it's, I'm going to do a workshop on this topic, then I'll do a workshop on this topic. Then I'll forget workshops. I'm going to do retreats and then forget retreats. It's just going to be a one-on-one on a different topic. That's the hardest business model. You will almost certainly burn out and go broke. Okay, so let's review. When you're designing an offer, number 1, is it relevant to your ideal people? Number 2, is it really simple to understand what the hell the offer is? Number 3, is it credible? Would they trust it? Number 4, is it sustainable for you? Number 5, is it safe to approach? Has the risk been reduced? This is such a big one. Number 6, is it valuable? And number 7, is it repeatable? If you get all 7 of those on an offer, you're going to be doing very well. This is so important. I should have said this in the beginning. Look, if you're going to have a successful business, ultimately it comes down to the offer. That's the whole reason we're doing a business. And people think, oh, marketing. Well, to learn marketing, you learn copywriting skills, you learn all these techniques. Sure. But the fundamental reason people buy is because it's a good offer. That's why. If the offer is good, I would rather this. I would rather you have a really, really good offer that meets all 7 of the criteria and the shittiest copywriting we've ever seen than you have a really terrible offer with great sales copy. It starts with the offer. It starts with the idea. It starts with the premise. And if it's a good idea, it will fight its way through bad marketing. If it's a terrible idea, you can gussy it up. But long term, is what I'm saying, long term, it will not last. Why? Because the word of mouth will get out. People say this, well, the hype was good, the copy was really good, but it's pretty shitty. Versus, oh man, you know, it's the hole in the wall restaurant nobody knows about. But if they can stay in business long enough, if they have the financing, you know, eventually the word gets out. I'm not saying be shitty at your marketing. I'm not saying don't market. Of course, the marriage of the two, really good marketing plus a really good offer and idea, there you go. So hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions about designing your offers, please put them in the comments below. I'd be happy to maybe make another video that'd be useful for you. I think that's it. Thank you so much for stopping by. You know, grateful to have you here. And I'll put some links in the, what you call it, the little thing below, so that you can learn more about some steps you can take on all of this. All right, take care, everyone.